It's part 2 of my Mistel build in 1/48 scale, and now it's time for the main event, the Junkers 88 bomber. Find out how I get on with it right here on Gary's Stuff. Hi, I'm Gary, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today indeed is the second of 2 videos in which I'm building the Mistel 1 flying bomb in 1/48 scale from ICM. Now I've already done a video about making the BF109F that sits on top of this combo. Today it's all about building the Junkers 88 itself. If you like the video, and I hope you do, please do give it a thumbs up, the imperial thumbs up, on the like button below, because every like counts. And if you haven't done so yet, please do subscribe to my channel, hit that bell, and you'll be notified of all my future content as it's published. And of course, if you would like to support the channel in any more concrete ways, you can do that through Super Thanks, by becoming a channel member, or by using any of my online affiliate programs. Now, as I've mentioned previously, this kit was sent to me by ICM for free as a review sample. However, they haven't asked me to say anything particular. They're not paying me to make it. All they want, just like you, is an honest review of the kit and how to put it together, and that's exactly what they, like you, are going to get. So let's crack on then and build the bottom half of the Mistel 1 combo, the Junkers 88. Okay, I'm going to put this I guess it's a radio rack in first. Normally with a crude area you'd be painting this and blah, 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 but you're not going to see this anyway, so not really much point in doing any of that. Then there's the tail wheel assembly needs to go in. This is a real pain in the backside that it's got to go in now, because it's going to get in the way when we're doing our painting, but there we go. That's what we've got to do. It's a pretty sturdy sort of system here. And then we can just join the halves of the fuselage together. I mean, this bit is ridiculously easy compared with a regular Junkers 88, because there's no crew. So we're going to cinch up all of these joints here, and then do some glue on them. And then we're going to pop in a piece here. I'll show you how to do that when this is all glued up. Okay, so this piece needs to go in now. The easiest way is just to slot it in from underneath. And there it fits. So if you can then, right-handed, so I've got to switch over and get some cement and just maybe tap it into the corners here. Then the bottom of the fuselage can go on here. Like so. Then the two halves of the nose section can go together. Then the fuse contacts go into the front, like so. Now this is all stabilized, we just need to cut the front section off the aircraft here. Okay, that was my mistake. We go to this line, not that line. We go to this line and cut straight down, including through the beginning of the wing root here, which is probably why they suggested you might want to take these radio bits off, because they will get very slightly in the way if you're going to cut across and down. These could get in the way, so maybe just sort of file them down a bit first before you put them into the aircraft. And then that's all done, and then the bomb nose fits on like so. Right, there are now 16 of these little spiky fin-like things to use. There are 4 different sizes, and so just follow the instructions really carefully about where each one of them goes. And when you've got them on, I would really let this set for some time to make sure they don't come off again. Okay, next we make the elevators. These come into halves. And to make the tailplane assembly on each side, you put the elevator, it clicks in on these hinges, and then you put the other side on. This is the underside with the access holes there for servicing, and squeeze together. Now the instructions say you should leave it undone so you can mess with it up and down. I prefer not to. I prefer to have it set in one position, so I'll glue mine in place. The tail fin also comes in 2 halves. The tail planes, horizontal stabilizers, go in very snugly on the rear fuselage, as indeed does the fin or vertical stabilizer. The rudder, of course, comes in 2 halves, and we'll just glue it up together. The rudder fits straight into the back of the fin. The lower half of the wing can join the upper as well on each side. Then the wings go on like so. They just sit on the pegs on the top and the bottom. We'll tape those up and probably have to look at a bigger work table for the rest of the project. Now on the bottom of the flap you need to put this fairing. This is like the fairing at the back of the engine. It doesn't like it. There we go. Like so. Just a dab of glue to hold it in place. Then when that's done, the flap can sit inside the track at the back. And the aileron can sit in the space at the far end of the wing. Like so. 3. Okay, we'll start putting together this interestingly complicated looking undercarriage. There's this scissor here for the oleo strut. It goes in. Perfect. Lovely. And then we have to get this right way around. That goes in, that's it, that one there. And this, fortunately, has a square peg, so it goes at the right angle. It goes on here. Okay, like that. Then this sits into the base, undercarriage base here. Right, so there's more bits and pieces that are going to go in here to set this angle. So I might just kind of leave it for a minute and then get the other bits together. Right, so back to where we were going. The undercarriage sits on this mounting like so. Okay. Then there is a yeah, okay, that goes in there. Right, so this connector, I think it's probably an actuator, I would imagine. Comes in. It's down into that hole there. Have to check every now and again it's actually showing the right thing on the camera because I can't always see what's going on. There we go. Then there's another bit goes in here. Oh, I see. So it connects to that elbow there. Okay, I might need to just widen that out a little bit. Alright, we should be okay now. So that goes on there like so. He said confidently. There we go. Yeah. So that sits on that elbow. That sits in here. The also sits against that, so we'll give that a little bit of glue to make sure it's nice and secure as well. And then finally, it's a piece that goes in, connects to here. I think it connects to the bottom of this, the top of this knuckle here, just there. Okay, let's see if we can get that in. Okay, so that goes onto that knuckle and into that. I think like that. So that's the completed undercarriage leg. Don't think there's anything else to do. Just need to do the other side now. Then the whole undercarriage unit just sort of slides, sits into the base of the wing like that. Really, really nice fit. Beautiful. Okay, just put the other side in, and that's that for the moment. Starting to build the engine now. The two halves of the block go together like that, and then the timing gear, I guess, and injectors and whatever go up there. Then there's a small little cap thing that goes there. I think there's a small hole on there. I think that goes upright. We will find out later whether that's true or not. But there's a hole there. It is meant kind of mentioned in the oh yeah, there's some pipe work and pipe work goes into the top of that. Anyway, let's let this set up first. Okay, so this engine is the one I'm building with what I think is the minimum that you need, because as far as I can see, these are part of the structure in a way. So we'll build the basis of this engine without all the extra pipe work and stuff like that, stuff that's actually structural, like the engine mountings. Okay, so we'll include the engine mountings. We won't include the pipe work and the supercharger and all of that because that's not structural. This stuff is structural, or stuff that has to be seen from that, like this will be seen from the front, the very front of this, and there's going to be a pipe that sticks in here, I think, in a bit. That's going to be, and there's a piece over the top. But other than that, we really don't need too much structure. Now I'm going to do the engine exhausts as well, but looking sort of ahead of myself a little bit. There's an exhaust shroud over the actual exhaust. I'm really not sure how much of the exhaust we actually need to do either, but I'll do them for the moment and then we can find out later. Each half of the exhaust stack comes in two parts that can go together like so. Then the exhaust stacks can go onto each side of the engine. So, okay, and then all the bits go onto connect up onto this rear engine firewall, I guess, bulkhead firewall, whatever you like to call it. Now, the exhausts clip into it. Let's get some tweezers. Exhaust clip in, the engine mounts clip in. Juggle 6 different things into 6 different holes in one go. You know what would be easier? It would actually be easier to put this on later. That would be easier. Let's put the exhaust stack on later on, when everything else is in its. So I'm going to try that. Didn't let them dry, as you can see. Could have been a very smart move, but we'll see. Right, so we're going to just line up all these mountings with their respective mounting points. Okay, those go in there, those go in there. Those go in there, and those go in there. Okay. So it says 4 done. Now what I can do is, there might be a reason why you can't do this way round when you're doing it actually with the there we go. It just doesn't look right, does it? That does not look right to me. Is that the right way up? No, it's because it's the wrong way up. Okay. We'll try again. It goes in there. That goes in there. Okay. That goes in there, that goes in there. Right, that's the basic structure organized. Now, with the exhaust stack, we can put it into its hole there, then there you go, perfect. So that's so you line up, so you don't actually have to worry about until you actually come to put them on. If you're not doing the exposed engine, I suspect there's going to be some way of saying, oh yeah, well, you can't do that if you've got the engine exposed because, and there's going to be something that gets in the way or doesn't get in the way or whatever. Anyway, that's all done, and that's all looking very nice. Okay, then this sort of frame thing goes over the top of the engine and clips into the exhaust, and that helps set the exhaust angle, if you like, because they're going to pivot around this joint, and if those are in the right place, then the exhausts are in the right place, which is perfect. There's this piece goes in vaguely here. I don't know if this is going to be visible, but it might be visible. The bottom of it might be visible, so put it in, but I can't see actually where it connects unless it connects. I can't connect up there. I can't see where that connects to. Maybe it's a component I haven't bothered putting on. It connects to. You can't really see it anyway. I won't worry too much about that. Then the other half of the engine nacelle can go on. It clicks into place up there, at the back there, and at the front. There we go. All fits together very, very well, I have to say. Just we'll tape that up, put some extra thin cement on, and that will be done. Next are the side panels that fit on the other side of the aircraft. I'm going to have these open. On this side of the aircraft, I'm having them closed to show that, yeah, it can do both. And they fit really rather nicely. Need a little bit of glue to hold them in place. And we can put the radiator vents on as well, radiator flaps. There we go. And there's another couple down here we need to do as well. And now remember all of that stuff you did about getting these lined up and getting those mold lines sanded down and all that, yeah? But what you're going to do now is put a baffle across the whole lot like that. And that is your basic engine nacelle finished. So we are going to do the other one with the axis panels here open as well. So there's going to be a lot more on the other side to worry about and paint and stuff like that. But that's your basic engine nacelle finished. Now, fitting the engine nacelle onto the aircraft as you have it, it's a slightly tricky thing, only that if you can see this leg here, this bit that sticks out the front, this actuator part that sticks out the front here, that's got to fit inside this little cutout, okay, before these pegs will engage with these holes. So it's a little bit of a squeeze, but it will go on. There you go, it will go on. The other issue, looking at the other side, is that the nacelle has to go over that lip on the wing, upper wing, like so. So that clips in there, then everything else clips in place down here. And we're sorted. Engine nacelle on. This is the engine that's actually going to be shown. So it's going to be open. So painted it black, given it a satin varnish, and I'll start putting all the other bits and pieces on. Now I think this is an oil pipe. The idea is it kind of goes over clips over the mounting frame here. Just get some tweezers, help it over. There we go. Over like that. Then here, this part goes into a hole in the back of this thing here. Like so. On this side of the engine, I'm going to put the mounting bracket in and then put it between the two oil pipes that are here. Okay, so it sits between them like that. There's this bit, I don't know what it is. Someone will tell me. I'm sure someone knows what this bit is that sits underneath the engine here. But there it goes. It sits there. Then there is I'm going to say it's a supercharger that sits here on these two pegs. The supercharger then slots into this area here, and there's two pegs that sit into two holes on the side of the engine. Thus, and that's the supercharger. That's the whatever that is. And then the engine mount on the starboard side can go in like so. There we go. Actually looks pretty cool, huh? Actually looks pretty cool. We can just, we could just tap up some, clean up some of these surfaces, but I don't think we're going to see very many of them, so I'm not sure I can be bothered. Okie dokies. Next thing. Next on the instructions are the exhausts. I'm not putting them on yet because we've discovered it's actually easier to put this onto the mounting and then put the exhausts on, so that's what I'm going to do. This piece of ducting, sort of pipework, clips into these holes here and then one on the rest of the pipework like so. Then this piece of piping goes in here. I think what I'll do is I'll just put a bit of, just touch it up a little bit before anything else goes in. Following on from last time, I am going to put the engine with its engine mountings on the backplate first, then I'll put the exhausts on in a bit. So I'll let these settle in first. Then I'll do the exhausts in a minute. So here's the engine mounted up, and I've just given it a bit of a wash with some aircraft engine wash, actually, from AK, just to dull things down, give it a little bit of an oilier look. And then I can put in the exhausts. So just a bit of glue. There and there. Then put the exhaust in the back first. Like so, and then into the holes on the side, like so. Now the exhausts, what I've done is given them a paint of coat. So the exhausts, I've given a coat of burnt iron, and then I've dusted them over with some medium rust powder just to weather them up a bit. There you go, and with the exhausts on, that's the engine unit complete. Now, what will happen is when we put this into the nacelle, there's going to be that big pipe we saw on the other one that didn't seem to connect to anything, will come from the air inlet at the front here and will connect to the supercharger body here. But other than that, that's done. And I'm very happy with it. Okay, first of all, we're going to put the engine into the port side of the nacelle, like so. Now there are little cutouts. I don't know if you can see. There's like this sort of bulkhead here goes all the way around, and there are cutouts for things like this, this tube here, and the top of the cylinder bank here, and the engine mount. So the little cutouts for that, and they all need to be lined up. And when they are, it looks very good. Then the air, I guess, cooling flap that allows different amounts of air in through the front end of the engine. That has to go in, and that needs to be centralized. Like so, then we can just run a bit of extra thin around that. That keeps that in place. Now there's an inlet pipe. Now I'm guessing this inlet is actually the carburetor air intake, as it should be. So that needs to go into the supercharger body there. So, and into the back of the flap mechanism here, like that. And that's it. That's all done. Then we can put the other half on. Okay, so the other half of the engine nacelle goes on here. This will take a little bit of juggling to get all the parts. Start from one end and work your way to the other end is my advice. So start from the front there, get all those front pieces together, get all connected up here and here and here and here and here, and then at the back. Right, so right then what you need to do is just tape everything up in place, extra thin cement to bond it, and I think that looks absolutely fantastic, if I say so myself. The main wheels, the tyres for the main wheels as well, they go together in halves like this. Just line up the lines in the tyres, clamp them together and glue them up. And to fix the tail wheel that came off some time ago, I've just cut it flat, drilled a 1mm hole into it, and I'm putting a 1mm dowel into it as well. And I'll cut another hole in the leg and I can put that in. 1, 2, 3. Then the tail wheel can just slot in there with some proper cement as well, and just leave that to dry. Now on the main doors you can see there's these little pegs, and they fit into these little holes on here. Just sort of hook the doors around until they're aligned, like so. Then you can just pop the wheel onto the hub, like so. Now the propellers. The Mistel Junkers 88 had big paddle bladed units. These sit into this shaped backplate very firmly. And once those are assembled, you can slot the spinner on the top, press it firmly into place, and you might want to touch up the colour on those exposed bits just behind the blade stems. Then the propeller sits straight onto the shaft poking out from the engine nacelle. Now for the support for the BF109, there are holes that you drill according to measurements in the instructions, and then these A-frames go in either side of the fuselage. There's a V-frame that goes between them to give the right separation and to give them strength. There's also a support pole at the back. Now with all of those in place, the BF109 can sit on top of the frames, the tail on the pole at the back, and our Mistel 1 is complete. There it is then, the Mistel 1. It's the modified Junkers 88 fuselage with a BF-109F perched on top. Wow, what a kit. 1/48 scale, it's big. It's a big old beast. There's lots and lots of parts. To be fair, the BF-109 is probably the harder of the two things to get right, but it's a much older moulding. The trying to put stuff around the engine and get the engine in, then build everything around it, I found really difficult. I just thought, no, forget the engine. Just put the panels on, put the exhausts on, and that's fine. And as it has turned out to be, the Junkers 88 segment is a much easier build, a much more modern tooling, different design principles, I guess, things like that. I think you probably need to put most of the engine in, but you don't need to paint it unless you're doing an open-engined aircraft, of course. Everything else in your kit is lovely. The conversion to the bomb nose it just relies on you to cut something, and as long as you do that right, everything else falls into place. Of course, if you want a real challenge, then you'll get the Mistel S1, the training aircraft, which has got a regular Junkers 88 underneath. So you've got all of the glass house at the front end and all the pilot's controls and all the rest of it, as well as a BF-109 on top to paint and to create. But do you know what? I'm really happy I built this. I'm very happy with the result. And if you want a build that's a bit more of a challenge than a normal kit would be, and you're into odd stuff from the Second World War, then this ICM Mistel absolutely fits the bill. It's a beauty, and I am really delighted to have finished it, frankly. It's beautiful though. I mean, a lovely kit. I cannot recommend it enough. So that's that. What a build it is. Quite the challenge, but an amazing result. I loved building it. At the end of the day, there were times when I was maybe not so happy with how things were going, but I think the end result I'm so pleased with. And all I've got to do now is figure out where I'm going to store it because it is big. Anyway, if you've liked the video, please do remember, give it the old imperial thumbs up on the like button below, please, because every like counts. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and you'll be notified of all my future content as it is made available. So thank you very much for watching. Do come back soon. Take very good care now, and goodbye.